perfect competition, isn't it? Did we do with the features of perfect competition? Anna, did we do with the features of perfect competition?
Yes, ma'am.
So perfect competition is over. As we have already given the introduction of the concept, market is basically divided into two competitions: perfect competition and imperfect competition. So perfect competition, these are the features that we have done: large number of buyers and sellers. And what is the perfect example or the main example of perfect competition that I have given you? Product sold by a seller with that of the other product sold by the other seller. And free entry and exit, there are no restrictions to enter into the industry and exit into the industry. No formalities or no legal obligations to enter into perfect competition. Perfect knowledge available to both buyers and sellers regarding the price, regarding the supply, regarding the availability, regarding the demand, and so on. Then absence of transport cost, and perfect mobility of factors of production, and no promotion expenses. So these are the features of perfect competition. So this is a small other concept in perfect competition. This is as per the syllabus of JNTU you don't have, but when it was MEFA, that is till 2016, there was also a concept of price and output determination under perfect competition. So JNTU may ask anything without remembering what you really have. So it's a just small concept, just remember what it is. Anyhow, I'll forward the PDF. So here, price and output determination, how is it determined? As the price is determined by the market, the price and output determination in perfect competition is identified in 3 stages. What do you mean by 3 stages? So here in perfect competition, the average revenue is equal to marginal revenue is equal to price. This is how the price is decided by the market. And do you know what is average revenue? How do you calculate average revenue? Total revenue divided by number of units sold is known as average revenue. And what is marginal revenue? Marginal revenue is revenue derived out of selling extra 1 unit is known as marginal revenue. And what do you mean by price? This is how the price is decided. AR is equal to MR is equal to price. The price of a particular product would be decided on this basis. Now, going to this is what the straight line, that is how the concept of price is decided. The next important point here is MC cuts MR from below. What is MC? Marginal cost. And the point where MC is equal to MR is known as equilibrium. At point E, the firm would be at equilibrium where MC cuts MR from below. And what do you mean by equilibrium? Equilibrium is equal to quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. Equilibrium is nothing but quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. The firm would be in equilibrium where MC cuts MR from below, and the point where MC cuts MR from below is known as equilibrium. And here, where the short-term average cost curve at minimum, the difference between the average cost and average revenue is a supernormal profits. So always remember, under perfect competition, initially the firm enjoys supernormal profits. Is that clear? So this is what the price and output determination would be there. The first important point here is how is price decided? Price is decided based on AR is equal to MR is equal to price. And when will the firm would be in equilibrium? MC cuts MR from below. AR is a straight line, isn't it, which is parallel to the output. So MC cuts MR from below. The point where MC cuts MR from below is known as point equilibrium. Equilibrium is nothing but quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied. At this point, the difference between short-term average cost curve and average revenue is the supernormal profits. OP is the price, OA is the cost. and B is just we are denoting to show the area of supernormal profits denoted by PABE. Is it clear? This is the first stage that is known as supernormal profits. So here as cost is below the revenue, AR is revenue, AC is cost. The difference between AC and AR at equilibrium is known as supernormal profits. So in first stage, the firm enjoys supernormal profits. Is it clear? So this is known as supernormal profits. Now, if by seeing these supernormal profits, more and more sellers enter into the market. Seeing the supernormal profits, more and more sellers enter into the market, leading to no profits, no loss. Okay, leading to no profits, no loss. So in the second stage, if you observe, the average cost curve is equal to average revenue curve. Both are equal. At point E, both are equal. And again, as usual, MC cuts MR from below. And what is the price again in second stage? AR is equal to MR is equal to price. Is it clear? So this is known as stage 2, that is no profit, no loss or break even. Now again, more and more sellers continue to do the business. The firm suffers abnormal losses, where you see the average cost curve is above the average revenue curve. The difference between the cost and the revenue is the abnormal losses, where the firm suffers in the third stage, denoted by the area PABE. Is it clear, Nana? So these are the 3 stages that the firm goes through under perfect competition in 3 stages. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts regarding this? If you understand, it's as simple as that. If you don't understand, if you can ask me at any point. You can ask me at any point.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me now.
Ma'am, once please explain what the equilibrium is.
Equilibrium is a place where, now as I said, in the first stage, the firm enjoys supernormal profits, isn't it? The firm enjoys supernormal profits. Seeing supernormal profits, more and more sellers enter into the market. Therefore, the customers get distributed among the sellers. Isn't it, Nana? Ipudu sellers vacheste emavutaru, the customers get reduced, the revenue to each seller reduces. The revenue reduces to each seller. Is it clear? So therefore, that leads to no profit, no loss. Then further, if it continues, the average cost curve is above, and the difference between the revenue and cost is the loss, denoted by the area PAB. If you even observe, OP is the price, OA is the cost. So OA is cost is more than revenue. That leads to abnormal losses. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
So this is about price and output determination under perfect competition. Is it fine, Anna, all of you? Shall we move on to monopoly? Yeah. Now, this is the short run. The long run is also as usual same. The three stages. Stage 1, supernormal profits. Stage 2, break even. That is no profit, no loss. Stage 3, abnormal losses. So this is in long run, where AR is more than AC. Second situation, AR is equal to AC. Third situation is AC is more than AR. Okay, so this is about perfect competition. Now, moving to the imperfect competition, how many market structures are there in imperfect competition?
4, ma'am.
4. What are those?
Monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, duopoly.
Duopoly. These are the four which comes under imperfect competition. Now, monopoly is the first one that I said under imperfect competition. Monopoly referred to single seller. Mono referred to single. Poly referred to seller. So, monopoly is that form of the which has a single producer controls either the supply or the price. Why we are not telling that a monopolist can enjoy both, either supply or price only? Why? Because if he want to sell more, he need to give discounts and he will need to reduce the price. So if we want to control the price, he can't increase the quantity. If we want to increase the quantity, he can't control the price. So either the one will be under the control of a monopolist, and there will be barriers to entry and exit, and in long run there will be supernormal profits. In long run, there would be abnormal losses under which type of competition? Just now we have seen, isn't it, 3 stages. Initially, it was supernormal profits, then break even, then no profit, no loss, isn't it? That is under which competition, Nana? Just now we have done, isn't it?
Perfect competition.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. So we have done with price and output determination under perfect competition. Then there what happens initially, supernormal profits, no profit, no loss, then abnormal losses. But in the case of monopoly, in long run, a monopolist enjoys abnormal profits or supernormal profits. So this is what about monopoly. Let's quickly see what are the characteristics of monopoly. There will be a single seller. There will be absence of competition. Absence of competition refer to no profit, no loss. Then there are no close substitutes for the product. So if there are substitutes, we don't say it as an monopoly, isn't it? What do you mean by substitutes, Nana? Any example?
Tea and coffee.
Yeah, tea and coffee, isn't it? So if there is a substitute, there is no existence of monopoly at all. So the another important feature of monopoly is no close substitutes. As Central Railways is nothing but we don't have any other option or any other rails, isn't it? So this is known as no close substitutes. And here cross elasticity of demand is 0. We have seen this in elasticity, isn't it? What do you mean by cross elasticities in the case of related goods, either in complements or substitutes, where it is 0, isn't it? So therefore, here in the case of monopoly, the cross elasticity of demand is 0. Means there are no substitutes, there is no concept of related goods at all. And here there is no distinction between a firm and an industry. So under perfect competition, do we have a distinction between a firm and industry? Is there a distinction of firm and industry under perfect competition?
No. No, ma'am.
Perfect competition, Nana. Just now we have done rice, maize. Perfect competition. So perfect competition law, there is a distinction between firm and industry. Market decides the price. The industry accepts the price, isn't it? There are many sellers. Each firm, a single seller is a firm. All the sellers together make an industry, is known as industry. But here in the monopoly, there is no distinction between a firm and an industry. Did you get it, Nana? Why were you confused? In perfect competition, there is a distinction between a firm and an industry. Did you follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Because one single seller of rice is a firm. Many sellers, all the sellers together make an industry. But in the case of monopoly, there is no distinction between a firm and an industry. Barriers with entry and exit for the new firms to enter. there are barriers to enter, isn't it? If you want to run your railways, we have restrictions from the government, isn't it? So therefore, there are restrictions. Or even in the case of arms and ammunition, we can't start our own arms and ammunition company, isn't it? Why? Because it's controlled by the government. Like this, if it is monopoly, why is it monopoly? The existence of monopoly is due to government restrictions. Now, the next one is monopolist can control either price or quantity. Why is this so? I said, isn't it? Why is it so? Can you tell me now? A monopolist can either control price or either control quantity, not both. Can you say why?
Because buyers has no option in that.
Yeah.
No substitute products.
Product. If we want to increase sales, what we have to do? He has to reduce the price, isn't it? Because there is no other person who sells such products. So if he want to increase his price, he have to increase his sales, he have to reduce. So either he can control quantity or either he can control price, but not both. If you want to increase his sales, what he need to do, he have to reduce price by giving discounts to increase the sales. Is that clear, Nana? This is about a monopolist can control either the price or quantity. Like example, railways kuda, there are no competitors, isn't it? So if he want more and more passengers, he have to reduce the price. If not, the passengers either go by railway or go by airways, isn't it? If you want to increase, he have to reduce by giving discounts and offers so that he can increase price. And the other customers monopolist దగ్గరకే రావాలి. But still, if you want to increase the sales, what he need to do, he have to reduce the price and give discounts and offers. Is it clear, Nano? And there will be abnormal profits in the long run. There would be abnormal profits in the long run. So this is the characteristic features or features of monopoly. Any doubts in any point? 8 points. And now be specific if you have any doubt, because these are important concepts. Once you understand, you can write on your own as well. Any point, any doubts?
Understood.
8 points. So you need to write define monopoly. If you ask features, write 8 features. And these features need to written as a side heading and then explain. It's not the main points. Okay. Just you need to write the same way how I show you here. Like how we have written for monopolistic competition. See, like this you have to write and then explain in detail about each side heading of the feature. Okay. And you will forward you price and output determination is good in these notes rather than the textbook, all of you. Okay. So these are the features of monopolistic competition. Now price and output determination in case of monopoly. So here, as I said, the demand curve would be AR curve and his MR curve would be below the AR curve. Why is this AR curve, average revenue curve, is downward sloping? Why? Because at higher prices, the sales are less. When he reduces the price, his sales are reducing. And if he reduce the price, his sales are increasing. And always remember, in monopoly, MR curve will be below the AR curve. Why? Because if he want to increase his sales or sell extra 1 unit, the MR curve would be AR curve. Is that clear? So this is known as marginal revenue. The aim of monopolistic is to always maximize his profits. If he want to sell one more extra 1 unit, he has to reduce the price. So this is the first point. AR curve is downward sloping and MR curve would be below the AR curve. But in the case of perfect competition, it is a straight line, isn't it? Parallel to the x-axis. Why? Because the market decides the price. Here the monopolistic decides the price. So this is what the price and output determination in long run. He enjoys supernormal profits. So again, average revenue curve and MR curve is what? Downward sloping. MC cuts MR from below. And what is the point where MC touches MR, cuts MR from below? What we say it as in perfect competition?
Equilibrium.
What is the point to equilibrium? What do you mean by equilibrium?
Quantity demand equal to supply.
Quantity supply. And this is a point where we compare the revenue and the cost. Is it clear, Nana? This is the point where we compare revenue and cost and see the difference between the revenue and cost. See, AC is below the AR. At point E, AC is below the AR. So the difference between the AC and AR is supernormal profits. Is that clear? Denoted by the area PAB. OP is the price, OA is the cost. This is the price and output determination under monopoly. So you have to draw this and explain if we ask. Actually, this is not there. You have only till features, 8 features. But if at all to be at safe side, I'm even telling you for your knowledge as well as for the exam point of view. Even you need to know how do monopolists decide the price, profit, and so on. Is it clear, Nana? Why I'm telling in long run he will enjoy supernormal profits? In the country, it is a huge investment in monopoly. So initially what it would be, the revenue will be less than cost. Tarvata emotundi, revenue is equal to cost. Tarvata revenue would be more than cost. Why? Because all the customers need to come to you. There is no split as in the case of perfect competition. Perfect competition lo emotundi, initially supernormal profits. Tarvata seeing supernormal profits, more and more sellers enter into the market, leading to splitting into consumers, break even. Break even tarvata abnormal, inka business continue cheste abnormal losses. Is that clear? So this is about monopoly, price and output determination. Now let's see the causes of monopoly. What are the reasons for monopoly? The first one is government policies. Government policies is railways, isn't it? Railways is the first one where we have restrictions for the others to enter into the market. Is that clear? This is what the first reason, government policies. The second one is mergers and acquisitions. So what do you mean by mergers and acquisitions? Merging and acquisition is nothing but it's due to the weaker companies would be taken over by the stronger companies. Okay, where, for example, a new innovation have been done where the company files its patents and become a monopoly, but it cannot have infrastructure where it can continue the mass production. In such situation, it will merge with the bigger companies by getting something and selling all its patents to the big companies, so that leads to monopoly. Because it cannot sustain the large economies of scale of production, which needs huge infrastructure, which need huge maintenance of machinery, technology, capital requirement, and so on, which small companies can't bear. So leading to which monopoly is what the next reason as mergers and acquisitions for monopoly. And through R&D, the next important point is research and development. As research, something new would be identified, filing the patents and registering itself where no one can copy its way of doing the work or the way of technology. Who has entered the class just now? Jahnavi, just take a number, Nana. Who is the student who have just entered now? Are you there, Jahnavi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just take the number. I just want to talk to him.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So now this is what the reason regarding which I asked everyone to join after I gave you even a grace period of 2-5, isn't it? Apart from which you are still continuing to join late. Now coming to the next one, through R&D, research and development is the next important reason as to why the concept of monopoly do enter into the market. So where the other companies don't allow to copy the secret of the business, to copy the patents, where they file and lock the secret in a vault, leading to monopoly. The next important thing is patents and copyright. This is what I've already said. What do you mean by patents is nothing but a technology or a method or a methodology which have been introduced for the first time is patents. And what do you mean by copyrights? Copyrights, it's for movies, titles, dance patterns, lyrics, songs, titles, and so on. So if you file your copyrights, no one can copy it, leading to which? Monopoly. Okay, then huge capital requirement is what the another reason. And the last one is strategic barriers. What do you mean by strategic barriers? Like if anyone make an effort to join in monopoly, the existing monopolist tries to reduce the price where a new entrant can't bear such losses. So it's nothing but brand proliferation, or to avoid new entrants into the market. The monopolists apply certain strategies where the new entrants can't bear such losses or such discouraging prices where they can even not meet the basic cost. So that might be the strategic barriers which leads to monopoly. So 6 causes of monopoly, 8 features of monopoly, and price and output determination under monopoly. So this is what under monopoly, and we have done with price and output determination under perfect competition in long run and short run. So this is all about the concept of monopoly. And Nana, I have a quiz for you regarding monopoly, what we have done right now. So I'll just open the quiz. Please do answer the quiz and submit by 3.